Good evening and welcome back to tonight's show and welcome back to the podcast. We're glad to have you tonight, joined by Shawnee and Rita as usual as they help me break down what it is that went wrong with Manchester United. It's Wolves 0, Manchester United 0 at full time. And well, if you're a Manchester United fan, there's two words to describe this game: reality check. And for the Bruno Fernandes faithful, the better words to describe it is anticlimactic. It was an eagerly awaited debut that was very, very quickly silenced and I would say ruined by a melancholy performance here for Manchester United. So there's no better way to preface the show than to talk about that, gentlemen. How poor was the debut of Bruno Fernandes, or was it not as bad as some people are making it out to be?
No, I thought Bruno played very well today. I'll be honest. Not because I love him or anything. I thought there was only one player today. All two. Well, I'm saying one player in like midfield to
Yeah,
attack who really understood his position. Whether he was playing, whether he started up as an attacking midfielder, whether he had to go back into CDM, he understood his position.
Yeah,
Everyone else just looked very clueless and just running around, switching places, and just like a tactical nightmare up front.
yeah. He was our best midfielder, without a shadow of a doubt. He wasn't the attacking maestro we expected, but it was his first game. But in both positions, he played good. Not in the attacking one, maybe not great, but he was good. He was getting into good spaces. His
yeah.
touch was very good, and he had a few shots on target. I think the big problem with him in that position, the two behind him were extremely, extremely poor in this game. So much that he had to drop back in there and help them, and he was very good from there. Like, we weren't amazing, but the play, the movement, the flow of the game got better with him there because he was distributing the ball really, really good. So I think it was a decent performance.
Well then, I'd like to bring your attention to our first half. It was, I think, about 35 minutes in. United had 89 passes in their attacking third alone, and weren't able to get a goal. What went wrong there? Was Bruno Fernandes just not getting enough runners in the channels, or was what like
Yeah.
break it down for us?
From what I've seen, Bruno was he literally passed forward and he tried to go for the long and creative ball. But I think attacking wise, from a midfield point and today, why things didn't work out was because Andreas Pereira had most of the ball up front and Dan James had most of the ball up front. And those two were extremely poor today, and they had most of the ball when going forward.
Yeah, like shocking. It was absolutely shocking, this performance. It was so bad in so many ways. I don't know where to start. I think before I get to the players, playing style wise, it was too central. I don't know why. I don't know why we're not using the width in this game because we're playing against a team that sits very deep. So you have to use the width. Otherwise, you're not going to break them down. And then when it comes to the players, Bar, Mata, Bruno Fernandes, and a lot of the back line, it was an extremely lazy performance. Like they just didn't give anything. Fred usually works hard, and maybe his game is not very clean, but he was none of that today. It was so bad. And Bruno was helping. I'm gonna commend him again because we saw a lot of his leadership today. He was basically telling everyone what to do, putting him in position. He was instructing Wan-Bissaka a lot. So I'll commend him in
Showing where
that.
to pass the ball.
Dude, like, he's a leader. He's a leader. We saw it with our own eyes. But in terms of movement, runs, everybody was shocking in the front. Martial was horrible. In terms of moving the ball, distributing the ball, getting into the right spaces, Fred and Pereira were shocking. So it was really, really bad.
So are you saying then that it wasn't a matter of creating enough chances, but rather just not having the people in the right positions to take those chances? Was that the problem
Yeah.
tonight?
Yeah, I would say that, and it was just very sloppy when something was tried to pull off. It just looked like so much confusion. Mata kept on running into like Martial. Martial looked like he was freaking playing
Yeah.
as a cam. He's a striker. He's a number 9, but he's so far deep. He's not. No one's. He's not in the box.
Yeah.
Pereira is
I,
just. I don't even know Pereira, and James also. I just don't even know.
I think it was a bit of both. I think Pereira and Fred were hogging the ball too much. They weren't moving it. But Mata and what's his name again? Bruno Fernandes were making the spaces. But the problem there, all of them were flogging central for some odd reason. They were all flogging in the middle and was making it very congested there. And up front, yes, I agree with you. They were not taking their chances. They were really poor up front.
Yeah, I think for Manchester United, the reason why I prefaced the show by using the word reality check is because I think today was a reality check. I think in many ways, and I've said it before, I think I said it in the previous podcast, the problem with this team is you have players who are more than just players in their own positions. They have to work hard to maintain their own position, but then they also have to work hard for the people who aren't good enough around them. And I think it's going to take Martial a long time to adjust to Bruno Fernandes being in the team because he's so used to doing all the work himself with the hold-up play, running into space, making disruptive runs. He doesn't need to do that now. He needs to sit in the number 9 spot and stay up there. But he's not used to doing that. He wants to do everything. And then it's the same thing with Greenwood. It's the same thing with James. He tries, but he's not really good enough, to be honest. So, yeah, I think that's a problem. Moving on to the second half then, before we get to the player ratings, did you guys feel like Ollie made any real changes? Did you see anything different about our second half, or was it copy and paste?
Nah, he didn't make no changes. The big change he did make was make Bruno like an official centre-back. CDM. And that was just horrible. I mean, he did amazing at it, don't get me wrong, but that's just the quality of Bruno Fernandes. But that was just horrible.
Yeah.
Like going up front, Andreas and James, we were playing with like 9 men today.
Yeah, he didn't do anything really. All he did was tell Bruno to play there and tell them to work harder, which the work rate increased a little, but it wasn't enough. Everything was going through Bruno. I think at the most touches, everything was going through him. But
that's why I think Matic is so important.
Sorry?
If Matic was playing today, there's no reason for Bruno to drop deep. The reason why Ollie did that is because Pereira was having such a bad game in the 6.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Matic was here.
That's another thing with United.
But I think Fred as well today was just at his worst. He was shocking.
Yeah, but with Fred, when it comes to Fred, I've always said I think Fred needs someone solid next to him to cover for his flaws, and I think Matic is kind of that guy because Fred in a holding, I don't agree with Fred being the only holding player in the team. Like when we were discussing, and this is going back to when we did the Bruno Fernandes show, and there was an argument about whether or not Fred can play there. We all either chose McTominay or Matic to play in the 6, and we said Fred should come off the bench in the box-to-box role because Fred can't play in a holding alone. If he's going to be a holding midfielder, he needs someone next to him because Fred is not a ball winner. Yeah. Sure, he can work hard and he can win balls. He can win 50-50s, but that's not what a CDM is. A CDM is a specialist midfielder who specializes in winning the ball back for your team in the middle of the park. And I think that's why Matic could be such a big part of this team.
I think no one can do that who could do that today.
We
have no one that today can win the ball in the 6.
Yeah, it's a huge hole. Well, without any further ado, let's get into the player ratings then. David De Gea, out of 10?
8 out of 10. I thought he was superb again today. Made amazing saves, kept a clean sheet. He was very commanding in the air this time, which is what I've been faulting him for in the previous games. But yeah, David De Gea was fantastic today.
Yeah. He had a good performance. He didn't have to do anything extravagant, but he was solid and he covered the easy things that he usually makes mistakes on. He was very clean with them today, so I think he deserves an 8.
Unanimous 8 for David De Gea. Haven't had that in a while. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, out of 10.
My man of the match. He gets a 9. Going forward, amazing. Defensively, he's a god. I don't even care. Like this guy's just he's Jesus Christ himself in defense. Going forward, today he should have had 2 assists. He put in 2 amazing. Yeah, you know how it is. But yeah, he put in 2 great crosses where I can't remember who the first header. I think I can't remember the first header, but the last one was Dallo. But yeah, I thought he was amazing today. And I thought that, when he had Bruno on that side, like it just shows, like, it took off some pressure for him. So yeah, I thought he
I want to disagree. I think defensively, he was all right today. He didn't have to do anything extravagant. He made some few crucial tackles. Going forward, I think the second half, towards the end, yes, he made some really good crosses. But then in that first half, I thought it was a bit shocking, to be honest. I think he made some questionable decisions going forward. So I'm going to give him a 6.5.
All right. Wow. Complete contrast. A 9 and a 6.5. Interesting. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below of Aaron Wan-Bissaka's performance tonight, please. Lindelof, out of 10.
7. I didn't really feel like he had to do much. Didn't really make a mistake. Kept a clean sheet. So yeah.
Whoa. There was one part, I don't know if it was Traore or who it was, but there was one part where a Wolves player ran through him and Maguire and nearly scored, but he didn't have the quality.
Yeah.
I think it was in the first half. But yeah, he didn't make any major mistakes. I agree with that.
Yeah. No, they weren't bad. They really struggled with Wolves' attacks. They really struggled to contain us, but Wolves didn't score. So I guess that's down to Wolves and the lack of quality. And Wolves weren't amazing, to be honest. They had their chances, but it wasn't that great. So 6.5 as well.
All right, 7 and a 6.5 for Lindelof then. Harry Maguire out of 10.
7. He had a chance where I thought he should have scored again, or at least put the ball back in. And I think it was a free kick that Fred put in. But yeah, yeah, it's not Tranmere. So, and he did have a shot from. He tried to do that Tranmere goal again. I mean, it was still early on, so it was like, okay, you know what, I'll let you off the hook there, really, because it was still early on in the game. But Maguire was very solid again in the air defensively. Made a good tackle. I remember him making a very good tackle against Raul. So yeah, 7.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he was making the forward runs that he usually makes, which I like because he pushed the team forward and makes more space. So he lacked in that part of his game today. But defensively, he wasn't too bad. He had a solid game. They kept a clean sheet. The marking on corners, I think it's an all instruction because now they were marking spaces to avoid runs from coming in because we've been struggling from that. But then it was leaving so many people unmarked and making unnecessary chances. So I think that's from above. I don't want to blame him too much for that. So I'll give him a 6.5 as well.
That's the zone of marking. Luke Shaw out of 10.
Yeah. I'm interested to hear what Molota says first, so I'll let Molota go first.
Luke Shaw has the potential to be good going forward, but then I don't know if it's maybe he's not had enough game time to get back into his rhythm. Maybe he has to sit. Was he the one playing his Traore? Maybe he felt that he had to. Yeah, he felt like he had to defend a bit more. I think maybe that's why. And defensively, he's always solid. He doesn't really make too many mistakes, but nothing extravagant as well. So 6.5.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Going forward, Luke Shaw is pretty okay, but I think today you couldn't really do that because of the quality of Traore. And I think Traore had him on toast today. I think. And, he had a bit of an injury from early on, but it's still, even with that injury, Traore had this guy on toast again. So, yeah, I'm going to give Luke Shaw average 6.
Average 6, bang on. 6.5 as well. Fred out of 10.
I think he was average. I think Fred is really tired. And he's really because we have no midfielders because injured and suspensions and all of that.
Yeah.
I think it just comes down to fatigue now, and Fred really does work hard. He's a workhorse, and when Fred can't work hard because of his tired, it makes him look worse than he is. So yeah, average 6.
Yeah, because you take away the one thing he's good at.
Yeah.
Or the one thing he's great at, rather. He's good at a lot of things, but
I think I'm going to agree that he's tired because I thought he was really, really, really bad today. I just didn't know what he did. I don't know. Was he playing as a quarterback? I didn't see the distribution. Was he defensively good? I didn't see that at all. Was he playing link-up play? I saw none of that, so I'm going to give him a 3.
Wow. I think that's the lowest rating we've given Fred on the show. Might be. Pereira.
Let's go first.
Yeah, wow. Where do we begin? Pereira played in 3 positions today, and he was horrible in all of them. All of them.
League One Pereira. That's what they're calling him now.
In the 6, he just can't play that. I think that was his worst position. He just doesn't know how to play the 6. Defensively, he's very poor and doesn't know how to operate a 6 in terms of an offensive play. In the 10, he's not cute enough. He can't find those passes. He looks very isolated and he's out of the game. On the wing, again, I don't know what he was doing. I honestly don't. Andy Townsend was saying, we don't know what's Fred's best position, and I agree. So I think he also is a 3.
Hey, Pereira, playing with one less man out there because of Pereira today. He was so bad at that CDM role. my boy Bruno had to go. Then he went and he played attacking mid. He was so bad. They moved him even further up on the left wing. He was so bad that eventually Oli decided to wake up and take him off. You know, a performance is bad when I'm even crying for a Lingard. That's how bad it was today. Man. Pereira. You know what? Today I always like being nice to Pereira, saying you either get a good or a shit Pereira. I'm just convinced this guy's shit now. I can't. My patience with Pereira is like nothing.
Townsend was saying that he probably feels a little threatened by the arrival of Bruno Fernandes. He did look out of sorts today.
And he deserves it. Because Bruno freaking showed him how to play both those roles, attacking and CDM. And this guy, him and Lingard, you know what? But not Lingard, because, he didn't really play much today, he had 3 minutes. But Pereira, basically same story. I don't want to see him in a United shirt again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give... He was literally invisible, so 0. Nothing.
That's true. Anyways, Bruno Fernandes out of 10.
Oh. Yeah, okay. Let me, the rival friends are going to say is a flop in this because it wasn't the glorious debut everyone was expecting. He didn't get a goal, didn't get assist, United didn't win. But if you look at it and you take emotion out of it, I think you see this guy as a baller. He's a professional through and through. He's very smart. Defensively, offensively, when he played both roles, he used quality in both. He showed fire. He showed leadership. He showed scumbagginess. Even when he had to get the yellow card, I didn't mind it. I thought it was completely right to do. He went in for 50-50s. I felt like it wasn't the glorious debut, like I said, we were expecting from Bruno. But, it's his first game against Wolves, tough opponent. And he had to play in CDM for most of the time. But I think this guy's a baller. He had amazing shots. Well, not amazing, but he was the only guy who really put shots on target today. From long worldies, he actually looks like he wants to create something. He never doesn't want the ball, no matter in what situation he wants it. He directs people in the midfield. He can control this midfield. And I think, with the injuries and everything back, whether it'll fix everything, I don't know, because I still question Oli and his system. But if he has more quality around him, and, if we had a Matic and we had a Pogba or McTominay back, I think he's going to be very fine. Yeah, I think it's happy days forward for Bruno Fernandes. I'm going to give Bruno Fernandes a 7. I thought it was a strong debut, even though it wasn't glorified as everyone thought it was going to be.
Look, I was going to give him a 6.5, but then I've given a few 6.5s, and I think he was better than all those players. So I think it deserves a 7. I think it was good. It was a good performance. I think it was the middle of the match, and for his standards, it wasn't an amazing. So to be man of the match in those circumstances is really good. I think he's a midfielder out tonight. He's a proper midfielder. It's not the most skillful, but then it's pass and move. Touch is really, really good. Like, he doesn't get threatened on the ball. He can swerve very easily. He can distribute. He can play the quarterback. He bounces all over the place. He's good on the wing. You can see he's going to be a really good player for us. So I think it is, as I said.
And it's like United, they're not used to him yet. Because the runs he made and the passes he made, it was just like, no one is used to something like that going through. And we're just like, I don't want to bring Paul Pogba into it, but yeah, it's like when I watch Paul Pogba play, I think like the quality difference is so mad. When I see Paul Pogba do some things, it's just no one else is like on the same wavelength as Paul Pogba.
Yeah. And intelligence, oh my gosh. Like,
in response to
it's like he was there. What are you doing? No, stand there. What are you doing? I expect you to make this run. And the rest of the team was just not in his wavelength.
In response to everything you guys have just said, and I think it's been like 3.5 minutes of Bruno Fernandes, I think bringing Bruno Fernandes to this team to try solve its problems is like putting lipstick on a pig and expecting it to look beautiful. I just think I'm actually fed up of the excuses. I've seen teams like Wolves go to Anfield and give Anfield serious trouble. They don't have a Bruno Fernandes. They don't have a McTominay. They don't have a Pogba. They don't have a Fred. They don't have a Rashford. They don't have a Martial. They don't have a David De Gea, super keeper in the goals. They don't have a Harry Maguire. They don't have an £80 million centre-back or £50 million wing-back. They don't have a young wing-back who looks like he could be one of the best in the world if he grows and develops properly. They don't have a youth academy star on the bench who scores almost every time he comes off the bench, and has scored the most goals off the bench, actually, in the Premier League. So, with regards to, like, I don't want to go too much of a tangent because this is about player ratings and this is about today. But with regards to Manchester United's future, I'm sick of hearing the excuses. Oh, if McTominay was back. Oh, if who so and so was back, we'd be playing better. It's unacceptable. And I think Bruno Fernandes, we shouldn't treat Bruno Fernandes like a solution. We should treat Bruno Fernandes rather as like a magnifying glass. He's here to magnify our problems. He's here to expose how bad the people around him. Not a solution. He's not a solution. This guy's going to get run into the ground. If he's expected to give us top four, he's going to get run into the ground. Because when Bruno Fernandes gets injured, and he will, because he's not perfect, we're going to be sat here again saying, oh, if Bruno Fernandes didn't get injured, our team would be so much better. You know?
Yeah.
It's just
and
not
I was gonna make that point. Only went on to the strikers because I was gonna say that Wolves, freaking Aston Villa, any other team, my Indo team, any other team in football, despite the quality, they look like a football team when going forward.
If they have the right system, yeah.
Exactly, and if they have the right system, the right coaching, they do things. And I'm freaking. What's the word I'm looking for?
Fed up?
No. It's like, I forgot the word, but I'm basically jealous.
Dumbfounded.
I envy the way other teams play when they go forward, because I'm jealous my team, despite having quality, still can't do that. Still, I don't have a coach who can still even try implement something. I don't have anything who, they show it. They get the basics right, they do things right, and they just make... It's very, very sad.
Yeah.
I think Martial also got exposed today, by the way, and we'll get to his rating in a bit, but I think he also got a bit exposed today because... A lot of people talk about Martial's hold-up play. Sorry to cut you off, but a lot of people talk about Martial's hold-up play, and I'll keep this brief. But, he's the number 9, and his primary job is to score goals, it's great to not be good at your primary job and to be a jack of all trades if the people around you help you with your job. Example, Firmino works perfectly at Liverpool because he's got Salah and Mane next to him. But Firmino in any other team looks like such a trash player because although his hold-up is good, if he's setting up chances and people aren't taking them, people are going to be looking at him like, but you're the number 9. That's how people look at Martial, right? Yeah. People ignore Martial's hold-up play and they say, yeah, but he doesn't score. And then people who are Martial FC say, but yeah, the reason why he doesn't score is because he's helping the team do other things. And it's like just this constant barking between two people. But at the end of the day, a really good number 9 should prioritize scoring goals. And sometimes I wonder if Tony is that, because today there's no excuse. Like, you have Bruno now. You have someone who's really quality right behind you. And you should be getting into the positions.
Exactly.
He was very poor. But going back to Bruno being a magnifying glass, I think you couldn't have described it any better. He really exposed how bad our tactics are really. Just a positioning on tactics, he really exposed how bad they are. The fact that he has to position so many players because they're just not moving correctly. The fact that he's complaining because the touch is just too slow and he's waving his hands, waiting for the ball when it's in one section for too long, really exposed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics today.
Yeah, I was really optimistic about Bruno Fernandes coming here, and I still am. I still back him, but I'm very negative about his future and this club's future if they really think this guy's going to solve the problem. Because, you take Manchester United's best starting 11. I mean, starting 11 can probably challenge for top 4, maybe, in prime, like all those players in their prime, maybe a title, in a bad season. But you look at our bench and you look at the rest of the squad depth and you're still like, nah. Well, I'm like, nah, in my opinion. Because you remove Pogba, you remove Bruno Fernandes, you remove Rashford. Even if you keep Martial in, to be honest, it doesn't make much of a difference. You remove James, you remove De Gea, and you even just remove Maguire. You can keep Wan-Bissaka there, but remove Maguire and put Jones instead of Maguire or Bailey instead of Maguire, who's always injured. And then you remove Lindelof. You take out those 9 players that I've just mentioned. And if you were to take out Wan-Bissaka, we don't have a team that's good. All we have is Pereira, Lingard, Matic, Matic would be okay in that starting 11, the first starting 11 with Pogba in them in it. But if Matic is playing in the second, like our bench if everyone is fit, it's horrible. It's horrible. And it's sad sometimes when reality slaps you in the face and you realize how far back Manchester United actually is from a proper rebuild. It's disheartening when we can't beat Wolves at home. after getting our new signing, our new Christmas present.
Look, I'm willing to give them a chance. I know we're very far behind and we need way more signings, but I hope they recognize that this is a start. I'm worried that they don't. I hope they recognize that this is just a start. And it's the Ole's tactics. We're willing to give him a chance. He's got Bruno now. We must work around him and improve the play, the way this team plays. Because from today, if we play like we play today going forward, Bruno's not going to make a difference.
Yeah, look, it's just one game, okay, and we have to be optimistic, and we have no choice but to give them time because, like, just being toxic and being negative 24/7 about Manchester United is not good for your health, and it's not going to get the Glazers out anyways. So yeah, we've got to be optimistic. There's no other choice, in my opinion, but it's just sad, at least for today.
Sad. And it's not like Poch is going to come anytime soon.
Yeah, so But anyways, the show must go on. Dan James, out of 10.
Nice. 2. Pace merchant.
One trick pony.
Yeah. And you know how many times
15 million signings championship.
No, that's not his fault. But like, you know how many times him and Pereira were in a position, and then Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes was on the edge of that box. Yeah, and that pass never went through, and they always try to make the harder pass. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
it was amazing. I'm dumbfounded.
I think it's a bit ironic in a way because we've been shouting at them for making backwards and sideways passes, and then the one time it's actually a good idea because the guy there will take a shot and get it on target. Then they're like, and then we get mad now because if Fred was there instead of Bruno Fernandes and they passed back to Fred and he took a shot and we went over, we would be like, what the? What are you doing? No, but no, I agree. I get it.
Yeah.
So 1-2.
He was shocked. I don't know what he did. What did James do today? Like, when he's at the edge of the box, he can't cross, he can't finish, he's running nowhere, there's no space for him to run. It's so sad. It is so sad. He's contributing 0 to attacking play. So I'm going to give him a 0.
Yeah, I think Bruno is in shock at James and Pereira today. He was looking at those two because he was near them all the time, and he was like, I'm sure he's thinking like, what's going on, you guys? Are you guys footballers? Are you actually footballers? Have you ever played football? Yeah.
Well, all I'll say is that the sad thing about Daniel James, and I really feel sorry for him, is if someone like Poch comes in, his career is done. Because people aren't going to look at the way he's played at Manchester United and say, I believe in that kid, let me sign him, because Manchester United aren't using him correctly. They're going to be like, no, you're shit, mate, go back to the Championship. And it's sad because he's a player with so much potential, but he's been run into the ground. And maybe that's his fault. Maybe he should have had an agent and he should have had someone advising him and telling him that, look, you can't go from the Championship to Manchester United. I think actually, no, it's not his fault because if Manchester United was being run properly, he would have been loaned out anyways. So it's actually not his fault. Who wouldn't go to Manchester United?
You'd be just, nurtured more into the team.
Yeah, nurtured more into the team.
But in better circumstances, it's a fine move. Just that the problem is now we're forced to play him because we don't have the depth.
He's being run into the ground like a proper. I don't even know what the best analogy to use. He's like a pair of soft tires that's never been changed throughout the entire race. They're good for the first few laps, but you've got to get them out. They're only soft tires. They're not meant to last the whole race, and you're just using them. And eventually, the tire's just going to burst, and then all that's going to be left is the rim, and your car won't move. And that's what's happening with the front left side of our car at the moment, because that's where he's playing. It's not moving. It's not steering, and it's not moving.
Yeah.
It's the best way to describe it. Well, the best way I can think of anyway.
Crosses, he needs to calm down when he crosses.
Yeah, it's funny. A few weeks ago, we were saying nobody's running in for the crosses, and now we're telling him to calm down because it's just awful.
Yeah. When I seen freaking Bruno and Pasaka putting crosses there, I was like, see the ball going in, I'm like, what a cross, and then no one there, I'm like, wow, look at it, going all the way through everyone.
Yeah.
All right. So then Anthony Martial out of 10.
I know people are gonna think he had a bad game and stuff like that today, and I know it is his first game with Bruno today. He should have been more forward, and I agree. I completely agree. I thought in first half he was actually my man of the match, but in second half I just got annoyed. I'm like, okay, now second half, surely you've been told, or surely you realized you don't have to come back and hold up so much. You can go forward. No one's going forward. You are a striker. You are number 9. Go forward. Bruno will try to get you the ball, and he did try, but Martial was never there.
Yeah.
He was always up. But Martial, in terms of hold up and turning today, was very good. But
Yeah.
other than that, for a striker, he didn't really do much. And I think, now that you got Bruno and stuff like that, maybe not used to it, and it's fair. Maybe I'm being a bit biased because I do like Martial, but I expected him to score. I expected him to be way more front than today. I can't tell the full story. I don't know. Like maybe he wants to, but Oli doesn't want him. Like maybe Oli does tell him, and I don't want to take shots at Oli because I'm not the manager. I'm not in the dressing room. I don't know what goes on. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think Martial was average. I think I'm gonna give him a 6.
Well, Rita, before you go, I want to respond with something to that. I mean, what I will say is that I heard someone earlier today say that they can't wait to see how Martial is going to become such a better player because Bruno Fernandes is here. And I was like, yeah, we'll see, bro. We'll see. He knows who he is. And then we look at Martial and we spoke about this with Rashford. We said Rashford was taking too many shots and he was being too selfish. And it's almost as if Rashford was being instructed to just do whatever the hell he wants in the left wing. Well, with Martial, he may not be taking shots like everybody else in the team, but we know that, taking shots is something Oli instructed. But maybe Oli has given this guy freedom to drop back, do all of these things that he doesn't have to do as a number 9, and he hasn't been corrected from a coaching standpoint of view because Martial's been doing this for a long time. And again, it's only being noticed now because the magnifying glass has arrived in the team. Mm-hmm. And perhaps you're right, Martial might take a bit of time to adjust because Martial wasn't this bad when Pogba was fit. So you might be right. He might be taking a bit of time to adjust to his new teammate, and it's a bit weird having someone who actually does their job. But you've got to ask questions of the coaching staff. When a player like Martial is not even, he can't stick to his position.
Yeah, I don't think he had a shot. Did he have a shot?
I don't know. When you play a player career in FIFA, even you get rating points for staying in your position. Basic in a video game. Basic.
And I still think Martial is dangerous. I don't think that. I haven't given up on Martial.
He's a talented player. He's a talented player. So you can't say he's not a talented player. But based on current form, I can see why there's a Martial agenda, and I'm slowly hopping onto that agenda. I'm not going to lie, and I like Martial, but I like to go off evidence and be pragmatic. And if I'm being pragmatic, there's nothing in the last.
What I will say though is that Ighalo is coming in. Yeah, and Ighalo is coming in. And people might have their own opinion about him, but Ighalo, when he was in the Premier League, he did score a lot of goals. I even had him in my fantasy team and stuff. So I did watch him a lot when he was here at Watford. I really did like Ighalo then. I think Ighalo is more of a striker than Martial. I don't think we'll see Ighalo holding up and driving all the way back to go help a midfield or something. I think Ighalo will stay up there and be like, give me the ball so I can just shoot. Even though I can't do anything else, I will literally be in that position. So when that ball comes to me, I'll shoot it towards goal. And at the moment, we don't have anyone who shoots. We had Bruno shooting from 30 yards.
A little fun fact, if you've got an Ighalo agenda, he was actually the top goal scorer in the last AFCON. AFCON's not an easy competition. Mane plays there, Aubameyang plays there, Zaha plays there.
Yeah, and we know that Ighalo isn't a Man United quality player, but come on, he's a Man United fan. He's coming into our team. Our expectations are low, but let's just back him. I don't rate him.
He's only going to be here for 6 months.
Exactly, so. and I don't rate him. I don't even like him, but I'm going to back him, and I do believe that he's going to give us something the team doesn't currently have and are struggling to do. Besides Bar, Greenwood, and Rashford.
But Martial's rating there, Rita. Sorry.
It's fine. Don't worry, gents. Look, I was about to say, when is the Ighalo coming? Because we need a target man.
When is Ighalo coming? I never thought I'd hear that. When is Ighalo coming? Wait, we signed Ighalo?
We need a number 9.
It's not a dream.
We need goals, and he just can't get us that right now. I think the hold-up play is not a bad thing. It can work. One, we need players who can score beside him. We've got Rashford. Maybe we need Sana.
Like Liverpool. Like Marcus said with Liverpool.
Yeah. Rashford's gone now, so Martial's being a bit exposed.
Yeah.
And James is just out of form, so he's got no one.
Yeah. For the remainder of the season, he must play on the left because he's very good going direct. Ighalo must play in the middle. Because what we saw today, as I've said twice before, the middle of the pitch was overcrowded. So he's trying to drop back. Matthews will drop in, Bananas is trying to find space there, and it just the ball just got stuck in the middle there and went nowhere. So
And I know.
yeah,
I was gonna say, sorry to cut you off again, but I was just gonna say, like, I know people like Martial and number 9, and I know people like, Martial says that he wants that role, but I always thought he was way more dangerous from the wing. And I think until Rashford is injured, I mean, why not just give him the run there? I think he'd be better for us.
I think he might.
Just until Rashford comes back,
I think with a better goal scorers around him, you will really see the benefits of him dropping back and creating so many chances. And he doesn't have a bad finish, but he really needs to improve it if he wants to play at Manchester United, because he doesn't make some questionable. He just takes some questionable finishes sometimes. Like we get 2 chances in the game, and then he gets one of the chances and he just skies it, and then that's very depressing. So he needs to improve on the front. But for the remainder of the season, I don't think he should play up front. I think he can benefit us more playing from the wing.
Yeah. What's your rating out of 10 for him?
Even for gods.
4. 4. And Shawnee, what did you give him?
I give him an average 6.
All right, so 4 and a 6 for Martial. Then, yeah, just to conclude on the Martial topic, I think, we often get so caught up in, where does this player play best? Where does this player play best? When are they at their best? When are they at their best? But you've got to look at the team as a whole. And because Rashford's gone, I agree with Martial playing on the wing now. But when Rashford's here, Martial, for me, could still be the guy in the middle, as long as we get a specialist right winger next to him. Okay. And we get Pogba, not Pogba, but we get someone who can offer the same sort of things that Bruno Fernandes can in terms of skill when Pogba leaves. Then Martial's golden in the middle. And I think that will be fine. And you look, it doesn't matter what team you look at in the world. You can look at the best teams in the world. Someone is going to have to play out of position in that team. Someone's going to have to take a sacrifice, like Bruno Fernandes did today because Pereira was so trash. Someone's going to have to play out of position. And it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. But yeah.
We compare him to Firmino. The difference between him and Firmino, his best part of his game might be hold up, but when his team needs him to score, he scores. Because this season, Firmino got so many late goals for Liverpool. He's won so many games with them where they were going to draw. And you need that as a striker. I mean, you are a striker. You need to be able to score. So,
it's like being a defender who's brought to a team based on his hold-up play and his ability to clear the ball out from the back. But when he needs to make a tackle, he can still make it because he's a defender.
Yeah. And then the opposite is
exactly the same thing. Yeah. Exactly. David Luiz is so good going forward, but then he's not good at his primary job, and that's why most people don't like him. So exactly, hammer on the head. But anyways, let's not forget about who was playing right wing today?
Mata.
Oh, yeah. Out of 10.
I thought Mata first half was very good. I felt like him and Bruno creativity wise was and the chemistry was there.
Yeah.
It looked very nice to watch. It looked like, 2 very intelligent players that United don't really have into much intelligent players, but it was very smart. And I think the only reason why Mata couldn't do it is because, he's getting old. This was a tough game, and he played a full 90 minutes, so he slacked off in the second half.
To keep up.
Yeah, I don't blame that completely on Mata because, what must he do? He's getting old. Ollie's still making him play and stuff. We have no more players.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be nice to Mata, and I'm gonna give Mata an average 6.
True. It was like Matt was like, finally, someone on my level.
Yeah.
They complemented very well in the first half. They played very similar. I think the only bad part, or the really bad part of his game today was the pace. He just didn't have it. There's this part where he had to drag Traore back, and commentator even said he's not even trying. He couldn't even touch Traore.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a bad performance. I'll give him a 6 as well.
Yeah, and I don't know if you want to rate anyone off the bench. It didn't sound like they had that much time.
But Greenwood was good.
Greenwood was good. Greenwood, when he came on, was good. He knows how. He's a striker. Now that's a striker. Yeah. Greenwood is a freaking striker, guys. And when Martial went on the wing there, when Greenwood came on, I was like, that's how it should be done. But it's too late. Yeah. It's a little too late. So sorry. Next time, Ollie, clueless again. But I don't really blame you because we don't have players. But again, systematically, tactically, I still don't think Ollie will get the guy going forward. And yeah, I'm crying for Poch.
Yeah.
I think he came on, and in the second half, him and Bruno towards the end were probably the best two players on the pitch. I think he played the whole up thing as well, but he seemed to have more conviction than Martial. Martial just looked very sluggish,
Yeah.
as always when he's in that form.
And I
So
rated Lalo as well when he came on. Like he
yeah,
had the
no,
header and he had the crosses. So.
yeah, he should have scored from there.
Yeah.
So I think he deserves a 6.5. He had a pretty decent spell.
I see. That's fair. That's fair. 6.5 unanimously. But yeah, I guess all that's left to talk about is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's rating today. For me, and I'll start. I won't give him a rating because you guys do the ratings, but I will preface it by saying this. I think I'm disappointed in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer today because I know he's not the one playing, but he is the manager of the club, so ultimately the responsibility falls on him to close out results. That's just the way it is in the modern game, hey? He was playing against Wolves. Top 4 is there for the taking.
Again,
Chelsea draw. Chelsea draw in a game we expected them to drop because it was Leicester City, and Leicester have been better than them in terms of points this season. So that was the game we needed Chelsea to lose in order for us to go and win. And we're playing a team that's not anywhere near as good as Leicester City. And we have a chance to close the gap. If we win this game, we get 4 points. We get within 4 points, of Chelsea. We lose this game, we're now lower than Sheffield United and possibly lower than Spurs because remember they have a game in hand. So we might drop as far as 7th because we couldn't close out a result against Wolves. And for me, that's... The Burnley result was unforgivable, but these kinds of results for me are also just unforgivable. And also, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to have to make a difficult choice soon. He's going to have to make a difficult choice soon. Europa League or top 4? Pick one, because you ain't doing both, mate. You're shit. You ain't doing both. You're not doing both. You don't have the squad depth to do both, nor the tactics.
Yeah. What I will say about Oli is top 4 is done for me now. My last hope was in Bruno. I hit the reset button. I was like, let's see what happens. Let's see how he plays. I was even hoping that he would change something, but today I just seen that, can't. The reset wasn't what we wanted it to be. I think Oli is no way getting top 4. Every time we get top 4, that when that door opens, we bottle it. And, it's generally because of tactics and stuff and coaching and things like that. So, yeah, this guy, he ain't the one. He ain't the one, chief, guys. He ain't the one. He ain't the one. He's not going to get us top 4. Bruno ain't going to get us top 4 alone. Pogba's not going to get us top 4. Because you could have the best team in the world, but when they run by a clown, you can only expect clown performances.
I think he will have to decide between the Europa League and Champions League. I don't think we're there yet. And personally, I don't think Champions League is gone. I think today's performance is very disappointing, but I think he has more tools now, and he just needs to work with them and try find a solution with what he has at the moment.
He'll get Champions League if he wins the Europa League anyways, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, true. So I think when it comes down to the two, it would probably be smarter to go for the Europa League when it comes to that point. But
because the quality of Southern Europa League is not that good anyways compared to...
Yeah, and it's a trophy. Like, top 4 isn't a trophy in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I think there's two sides to the story. I think he'd be a little disappointed in his players today. I think bar Pereira playing out of position, there's nothing you can do about that. They didn't show enough conviction. They didn't. Yeah. The energy levels, in the past few games, usually have high energy levels to start, but just poor technically and to the talent. Today, the energy levels were so low, and I don't know why. You could see on his face, he was very disappointed with the team's performance. But then, what I put on him is not necessarily what was the problem in this game specifically. It's a bigger picture. His playing style is not good enough. He needs to work on the fluidity of the team going forward. It's just not good enough. And to get the best out of Bruno Fernandes, he has to focus more on that.
Yeah, I really hope.
I say top 4 is not done because we still have people come from injuries. I know we can't rely on them because they probably will just get injured again. But we have decent players come back from injury. And if you can figure out a good solution between now and the end of the season, there's a slim chance to make top 4. Not to add, we're playing Chelsea next. In our next Premier League game, I think it's Chelsea.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is that I hope this is the last time I see Bruno Fernandes in that defensive midfield role.
I doubt it.
It's not going to be the last time. Just like I hate to break your spirits, but it's not. Let me just respond by saying this. Look, like we all get caught up in our own opinions, and I think everybody's opinion is that we won't make top four. That's great. Like I don't think we'll make top four either. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when you analyze a manager and you analyze a manager's performance and you analyze a manager's credibility going forward, you've got to be pragmatic, you've got to be impartial, and you've got to try not to be biased. We've all got a little bit of bias in us, and at the end of the day, this is all going to be subjective because you'll never know how well a manager would have done if you just sacked them. That's just the way it is. You'll never know. But with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you've got to try put yourself in his shoes, all right? And if I'm in his shoes, there's no excuses. There's no excuses. 4 points is not that much. It's now 7 points. Or it's actually still 6 points because he drew, and Chelsea also drew. 6 points is not a lot. That's 2 wins. Chelsea are going to drop points. Chelsea are going to keep being inconsistent because that's what Chelsea have done this season. They also have a young squad. They also have an inexperienced manager. And their squad's also suffering from fatigue and injuries. Also, they had an atrocious transfer window. They didn't bring anyone in. And Chelsea fans are furious that they didn't bring anyone in. So I may not believe top four is possible. Shawnee may not believe top four is possible. And Reta, deep down in his heart, may also not believe the top four is possible. But there's no excuse for Manchester United and anyone wearing a red shirt who goes to work every day and goes to training for them to not believe that top four is possible. They have to believe that top four is possible, and they have to choose what they want to do. Well, Ollie's got to choose, but then everybody's got to act accordingly. Do they want the Europa League or do they want top four? Because I don't think, even pragmatically speaking, I don't think they're going to get both. Not with the way they're playing. They need to close out results, man. Like you look at today's game, and if they just take one of their chances, that's 1-0, that's 3 points. It's not pretty, it's not attractive, but it's 3 points. You're 4 points away from Chelsea. So there's no excuses. There's no excuses. Even with this bad playing style, there's no excuses. Somebody's got to step up and just get the goal. If it's that desperate now, somebody's got to scrap and get the goal. And if we can do that, top four is possible. They have to believe it. It's just no excuses.
Like I'm not on the field, like we're not on the field at the end of the day. I'm not in the dressing room. I can say all of this, but I can't do it. I'm not in a position to do it. I wish I was.
Exactly.
I would, but that's not how it works.
We need a serious overhaul in the summer. This combination of players is just not good enough. It's not.
Yeah, and look, like the season's not over at the end of the day. Football can change very quickly in a very short space of time, as can any sport really. So for me, this whole Poch in, Poch out debate, I really don't want to entertain it anymore. All I'm going to say is if this guy somehow wins the Europa League or somehow makes top four, I'm willing to give him another season and believe in him as a manager, because that's something that I believe he should be doing if he's going to stay here long term. And if he does it, then I've got to be a man of my word.
Like he has to prove it. Like if you want to stay in the job, you must prove it.
And I think if he does lift a trophy, he's proven that there's something there, right? And a lot of people might say, yeah, well, it's not as good as Poch. It's like, yeah, but I've given my 2 cents on Poch. Winning a trophy is doing better than Poch has ever done at Spurs. I know that's a sad thing to say, but it's true. So I really, really hope that somehow this guy can win a trophy. And I hope that if he does win a trophy and he does get back long term, it's not just we're building for the future. It's actually shown in proper planning in the transfer windows. And we actually spend money. And I'm not asking that we buy 7 players in the summer, because I know that's not going to happen. But I'm asking that we start bringing in 3 or 4 players that we actually need. Start replacing the dead wood that is now left the club. They left a lot of holes in the club. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
That's all I want. That's all I want. A trophy and just a few signings. Not a couple, not 3, but like 4. Even 3, actually. I'll take 3, as long as they're in the right positions and they signings that make sense. I will take them.
As long as I'm moving forward.
Right way.
Yeah.
I'll take need to move forward.
But there needs to be a trophy, because if we don't win anything this season and we don't make any finals and there's nothing to say, okay, at least he made it this far and that's pretty impressive, then where do you go? He's got to do something.
Season, I'll be okay with the trophy or Champions League.
Yeah. Like, if we somehow make top 4, fine. Keep the Europa League, fine. I prefer the trophy, but fine, Like, top four was something that United haven't had even under Mourinho for a long time. Yeah, there was that one season he came second, but I think he was fifth or sixth when he got sacked. And the season he won the Europa League, or the season before that, whichever one. There was 2 seasons where Jose didn't make top four. Or am I wrong?
He was sixth twice. Well, he didn't finish the second one. Ola finished it, but the first one he was sixth.
Yeah, you see. So top four is, like, and that's 50 million pounds for the Glazers anyways, just for making top four. So there's no excuses. That's 50 million pounds plus the sale of Pogba. That's like 200 mil now.
200 mil. Yeah.
Yeah. So come on. But yeah, it's been a good show. We went on a bit of a tangent there. I think it was a good tangent. I think there were some valid points that were made. If you made it to the end of this video, you're a legend. And all you need to do to reap your legend status is hit that like button and get down in the comments. Let us know what you think. Anything. Even if it's just an emoji, please. Interaction, something. We're trying to build a community here, guys. And you guys who watch till the end of the video are the key to starting and getting this thing rolling. And we appreciate you. But until the next one, it's going to be a peace out.